Alright everyone, so I wanted to share with you guys a really awesome trick that I've been using for the longest time now that cuts back on the time and resources needed in order to limit break my heroes. And the great thing about this as well is at the time of me recording this, tonight is the night that we are actually getting the update to limit break our heroes to level 80. And this is actually quite significant because this is also the highest level on JP, which means you can really plan around this for a long time. Who knows if it's going to go higher, but if it does, it's probably going to be a while. So now we actually know the total number of materials that we need in order to limit break to the maximum level that it's going to be for a really long time. And I wanted to show you guys this image right here. I'll also leave the link to this website in the description if you guys want to pause the video, come back to this point later on. It's really important because what this does is it shows you the materials for an SSR and what you need to limit break. Now, of course, when I'm actually making this video, the website's not updated to level 80 yet, it's just 75, so that's why I added that plus 30 and plus 30 for the Gray Demon and Crimson Demon materials. So what you're going to need in total to limit break to the maximum 80 is you're going to need 50 of each of the boss materials, and that's really important. You absolutely want to keep that number in the back of your head, because when you actually start the process of limit breaking a hero, you're probably going to want to finish it. You don't want to limit break to 65 or 70 or 75 and then stop that unit forever. So if you just easily keep in mind that you're going to need 50 of each of the materials, that way you'll know that when I get those materials, I'm going to be able to fully limit break to the max without having to worrying about, anything too crazy going on. Now this is actually really important because as you are gathering your boss battle materials and you know that you need 50 in order to fully limit break a unit to level 80, and that's going to be regardless of what starting quality they are as well. The thing that's going to change when it comes to limit breaking and the quality isn't actually the boss battle materials. That's always going to be 50, 50, and 50. It's the actual pendants. And I'll get to that in just a second because I do have an important note about pendants because those are the other limited material when it comes to limit breaking. But getting back to the actual boss materials here. So you need 50 of each one. Now the thing is, the boss battles and death matches, they're going to be RNG. You've got 6 towns that you can do each day. If you do them all yourself, you can also join friends and other people's death matches, but it's still RNG. You might end up getting way too many of one of the ingredients and not enough of the other, and that's kind of an awkward situation. Now, a lot of people will say in this scenario, what you can do is you can go to your guild and just donate the extra ones that you have. That's actually a possibility. You can also just sell them for 4,000 gold. That's actually maybe more than you expected. That's another possibility. But if your number one goal is to limit break as quickly as you can, there is a third scenario here that you really want to consider. And it's also going to involve the knighthood. So let me show you guys what it is. And this is also the reason why keeping that number in the back of your head of needing 50 of each of the boss ingredients is important, because you don't want to overdo this. You want to do this properly, because if you do it incorrectly, you're going to waste your guild coins doing this. So what there is in the guild shop, there's actually a food that you can buy. And what it's going to do is there are several different versions here. You have one of them for the red demon ingredient. You have one of them here for the gray demon ingredient. And you have one of these here for the crimson demon ingredients. Now they cost 30 coins each. So what you do not want to do is you don't want to go too crazy buying them all out each day. You're probably not going to have the coins to really be able to sustain that. So what you want to do the really smart way is keep in mind this number in the back of your head, that in order to fully limit break, you're going to need 50 of each of the ingredients. And when you start working on getting ingredients and you're going to be working on limit breaking a particular hero, if you find yourself in a scenario where you're starting to get way too many of one or two types of the boss ingredients, but you're not getting nearly enough of the other one, that's the one that you really want to catch up on. And I say that really importantly. You want to catch up on the number of ingredients that you're getting for that boss battle that you don't seem to be getting enough of them of. So just as an example here, to make things easy, if I'm limit breaking somebody and I have, I have 40 of the red demon ingredient, I have 40 of the gray demon ingredient, but I only have 20 of the crimson demon ingredients. I'm 10 away from completing what I need for the red demon, 10 away from completing what I need for the gray demon, but I'm 30 away from completing what I need with the crimson demon. So I'm really far behind on those ingredients to fully limit break. This is the one that I now need to catch up on. So what I would do at this point is I would end up buying, maybe 1 or 2 of these just to increase the amount of materials that I get by 100%. To help catch up to that point where, hopefully by the time that I get the ingredients that I need, they're all kind of evened out at that rate. And now I'm not really in that awkward situation where I've got way too many of one ingredient or 2 of them, but I'm really way behind on the other. And now I have a bunch of extra ingredients that I need to do something else with, like turn them in for guild coins or sell them for 4,000 gold each. Now, if you want to do that, that's totally fine. I don't think either of those other alternatives are bad options. I'm just saying this is the trick that I have personally used in order to catch up and actually limit break quicker. If that's your number one goal, this is what you actually want to do. And that's why I explained it in really big detail, is because you want to do it right, not just buy all of these because your knighthood coins are actually quite precious and you don't want to go crazy wasting them. So that's the trick that I have personally used. Now, the other really important ingredient that is needed for limit breaking is going to end up being those pendants. And you're going to need a total of 15 of them in order to fully limit break. Of course, 3 of them in order to take your SSR to UR, and then, 3 for 65, 3 for 70, 3 for 75, and 3 for 80. So you might end up getting to a point now where you have a lot of boss ingredients, but you don't have enough pendants. And what do you do at that point? Well, this is why it's really important to not just look at your SSR pendants, but it's also really important to work on your heroes that are starting category SR or even in some cases R. You're going to get a lot of those pendants as well, and those are going to be some of the most important units to actually work on, as well as your just regular starting SSRs. So that's what I like to do when it comes to working on units when I've run out of a particular type of pendant. Lately, actually, I've been running more out of the SR pendants and not the SSR pendants, but whatever pendants you seem to be running out of first, that's going to be the point now where with the boss ingredients that you have, you now want to work on another starting rarity, work on some of your association units or some of your other really good SR farming units, something else, and focus on those. And then after you've had more time to actually accumulate your SSR pendants just by running through the SP dungeon, events, and all the other methods that you get them, then you can end up going back and working on your starting grade SSR units. So, lot of information here. And so what I wanted to do here to end off is really importantly, especially to those of you guys who are watching closer to after this update came out that released level 80, is which units do you really want to prioritize taking to 80 first? And I mentioned that we're probably going to be at 80 for a while. So there's a really high likelihood that a lot of you guys have a bunch of people at 75. But you're not quite going to have the resources to obviously take them all from 75 to 80 right away. Now, some of you guys who are really good at planning stuff out, you might actually be able to, and I applaud you for that. But if you don't, there definitely is a priority order here. And generally speaking, for any of you guys who do PvP, that is absolutely going to be your priority, is your PvP team. And quite simply put, is you're going to be putting yourself at a major disadvantage if you can't get those units to 80 because everybody else is going to be doing it. And because everybody else is going to be doing it, they're going to be getting those extra stats, giving them additional advantage, even things like additional combat power, so they have a higher likelihood of going first. So you really do put yourself at a major disadvantage in PvP if you can't end up getting your units to 80 sooner. So those are going to be the ones you want to work on first. But if you completely don't do PvP at all, if that's just not your thing, you don't have to worry about it as much. The farming team is going to be your next priority. I would definitely say work on your PvP team first, your farming team second, and then you want to work on associations and stuff like that. Farming team is still important because obviously farming quicker is great and it's going to allow you to get all those resources quicker and kind of boost the whole process of everything. But it's not as important. If you farm a couple of seconds slower, it's not as big of a deal as if you have way less stats in PvP and now all of a sudden a bunch of your matches that are wins are going to be turning into losses. So whatever units you do use for your PvP team, Escanor, obviously Blue King is a huge one. If you use Red Hellbrum, Merlin, any kind of units for PvP that you use, priority. Farming team, units like Hauser, of course, definitely going to be a priority. If you use certain SRs like Green Lizhawk, or even if you use Weinhardt, which I still actually use in my farming team. I know some people have mixed opinions about him, but I really like him because he uses those SR pendants and not the SSR ones. If that's something that you have a lot extra of, that's a consideration to make right there. So finally, of course, is your associations. This is not going to be a big priority. Obviously, extra stats are great, but you have to keep in mind that the stats on your association units, you're just getting a small percentage of their total stats. So while it is still important, you absolutely want to always focus on your core teams first before you really start investing your resources into, or too heavily into your association units. So hopefully that's a little bit of a recap there. Don't want to get too much more into it for now anyway, but I really hope that this video helped out, and I am going to be leaving it here. So if you guys did enjoy and you want more videos like this in the future, consider subscribing to the channel. Really do appreciate all the support, everyone. We just hit 1,000 subscribers, which is absolutely awesome. If you want to leave a like as well, it means more than you can imagine, so thank you to all of you guys who do that. And more 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross Global videos should be popping up on the screen right about now. Feel free to check them out, but if not, until next time, take care, everyone, and this is Salt of the Salted Guild, signing out.